So I do not think that I've spoken about the first SSR in Dokkan, that being this AGL SSJ Goku. I'm pretty sure he is because his ID says 1001. So presumably this has to be the first SSR in the game slash the first unit. I'm pretty sure he is, as well as this entire batch of units, because this is from January 30th of 2015 around the game's release. And look at all these goddamn cards. There are a lot of cards I have to cover, and in one big video I'm going to cover every single one of the SRs, Rs, and the Ns from January of 2015. I'm gonna get all those out the way, but first I want to go ahead and get this SSJ Goku, this SSJ Vegeta, this SSJ Goku again. Wait, no, I've spoke about this guy already. I remember speaking about this guy. Yeah, I've spoken about this guy already, so I don't have to talk about him. I have to talk about you though. So I gotta talk about both the Vegetas, and in today's video we're gonna talk about Goku. Did I talk about this guy? I don't remember. I was looking through my unit review playlist and I was like, yo, did I talk about this guy? I don't remember, so we're gonna go and talk about him today. So this is a unit from January of 2015, of course, that being Dokkan's birth. And this guy has a good leader skill for the beginning of the game. AGL, int, and physical type, 30% attack. That is good considering that units that had percentages inside their leader skill, super attack effects, for example, too, as well as their passive, were quite rare. So anytime you can have a percent inside your card, that was pretty goddamn good. And him having that was very, very it was powerful. And SSRs back in 2015 were pretty damn hard to pull. Do keep in mind, guys, GSSRs weren't a thing to a certain point in Dokkan. I don't remember specifically when they started doing GSSRs, but there were no GSSRs back in 2015 for Dokkan. There were none. You went through that entire multi and you got straight SRs, rares, and that was that. That was all. But do keep in mind, these SSRs, excuse me, these SRs and Rs, some of these guys, like for example, this Tech Goldo right over here, this guy was pretty good. This ability to lower all enemies' defense to 0 was pretty damn good. And another thing I do want to mention is this Yamcha right over here. I was skimming through some of these SRs, and it's so interesting. There are quite a few SRs from 2015 in this specific meta, that being the leader skill slash Dokkan event meta, were good. Like, you have this Int Chaozu still used for today's world tournament. Well, technically, nah. This guy's not used anymore because we have Ma Junior. But before we had Ma Junior and some of these other cards come out, like these AoEs, this Chaozu was, as well as the Tech Jacko. Let me just go and pull up Tech Jacko right over. No, Tech Jacko does not come out. No, Tech Jacko doesn't come out. Okay, so yes, this Chaozu and of course the Tech Jacko that comes later were two staples for the World Tournament team running that double STR Broly led team. So SSR, not SSRs. He's technically SSR when you do awaken him, but SRs were good back at this time. So with that being said, let's talk about this Goku. So this Goku, I would say his leader skill for 2015 was definitely quite good, considering that we do have a couple of solid slash good SRs, that being like this Yamcha, for example, who's able to debuff the enemy's defense by up to, what's that? Because you can debuff the enemy's defense by 20% for 3 turns. And do keep in mind, back in 2015, debuffing the enemy's defense was actually useful. So you debuff the enemy's defense by 20% for 3 turns, and then you will go ahead and debuff the enemy's defense by additional 50% if you put this guy in the first slot. So you can debuff the enemy's defense up to 70% with this guy. So that's pretty goddamn good. So you can bring this guy on this AGL led 30% attack team, and then you can just go ahead and bring, I don't know, I didn't get to take a look at every single one of these SRs, but I promise you guys, I'm going to do a video talking about every single one of these 2015 SRs, rares, and end cards. So going back and over this guy, I would say this guy had a good leader skill, and we're talking about his SSR version because he doesn't get his awakening until January of 2016, January 19 to be exact. And his leader skill stays, no, it doesn't stay the same. It's different. He gives a 30% attack and defense. So back on over to this guy for 2015, good leader skill. I mean, he did extreme damage, but what do you expect from a 2015 unit? And he also had 5 ki, which is obviously very good when his HP was 30% or below, but you took damage back then. You took that damage to get below that HP threshold. So it was feasible to get below that HP threshold at the time because these units had no defense. Remember, 2015 all the way up until 2017, and I would probably still say offense was still quite prevalent. I would say 2015 up until 2019. I know I am reaching because the battle road meta was important for defense, but do keep in mind that people were blitzing battle road stages with nuking teams. So I will go ahead and counter that fact that people would say that defense was important for the battle road meta. In some aspects, I see it because you do have AGL Golden Freezer, for example, but I would say that you had items. You had 8 items to play around with. So nuking, I feel like nuking was a more effective strategy because I've seen so many people clear battle road stages with nuking strategies that I would say that offense was a bit more better than defense even during the battle road meta. I would just put that out there. I would put that out there just easily. I think defense became important, in my opinion. I think it became important in the Legendary Goku event meta. That's where defense started to become like, okay, we have to start paying attention to these units. We have to stack up our defense. We have to have these units that are able to survive this long event. And then of course you go into the God event meta where we have this revival slash these defensive units that are able to withstand these God event bosses normals, as well as some of these super attacks for some units. And then of course we go into the extreme super battle road meta. No, I skipped over the extreme super battle road meta for the God event meta. So you have the battle road meta, of course, which I would still argue is a offensive oriented meta in my opinion, because nuking strategies were so damn effective. You had 8 items to play around with. There were some defensive key pieces for battle road, that being the AGL Golden Freezer, but even then offense was still quite overwhelming at the time. So I would argue, in my opinion, that battle road was still offensive oriented, as well as so you had battle road, you had LGE, of course, where defense became more important. Then you had ESBR, where were there people still doing nuking strategies for ESBR? I still feel like it was mixed. It was kind of mixed. Although I didn't see many people doing nuking strategies, there were probably still people out there doing. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to say that ESBR, defense was obviously still important because those extreme super battle road bosses were getting you blown out the water. So of course you have SBR, you have the Legendary Goku event, then next up you have ESBR, then of course you have the God event meta where of course defense was obviously important, of course, and then you have the Red Zone meta, and then of course you have the Birth of the Shadow Dragons event, as well as some of these other miscellaneous offside events like the Cell Max event, and this what is it, the Mortal Will Divine Wrath event. And then of course you had the little cooler event for that 2022 Worldwide Down celebration. I believe that was 2022. Yeah, it was, because 2021 was the Namek Saga Worldwide Down celebration. But going back on over to this guy, I would say specifically for him, 2015, his passive, good, because you were able to fall below the HP threshold. Super attack effect, good. Extreme damage, basically the first goddamn SR in Dokkan. I mean SSR. I keep mixing these SRs with SSRs. I don't know why. But leader skill good, super attack effect good, passive he was able to get that out, and of course Blazing Battle was for that Broly Dokkan event. That's pretty much the reason this exists, because this link is created before the Broly Dokkan Fest ever drops. I believe the Broly Dokkan Fest drops in September of 2015. Let me go ahead. I gotta pull that up. Was it December of 2015? Let's go over here. Come on, Dev. You've done many unit reviews. What are we doing? Let's get, where is it? Is it Dokkan events? Where the hell are Dokkan events? There we are. And then let's go ahead over to chronological. And then let's go ahead and go down to, did I scroll over it? There's a movies one, right? There is a movies one. Perfect. Let's go over to this guy. It's September of 2015, right? Yeah. You guys see, I know a little something now. I know this a little something, little something. Come on now. Your boy knows. Your boy knows a little something about Dokkan. Not everything, but a little something. But back on over to this guy. I would say for 2015, he was good. He had a usable leader skill. He had a good super attack multiplier, I would say. For the time, you can't really be too harsh on him because he is technically the first SSR. And is he? I'm pretty sure he is. It says 01, so he should be. And then Link set, not the craziest, but that 5 key was saving. He does auto super attack. Now we jump on over to his awakening in January of 2016, and around this time it's still the leader skill slash Dokkan of a meta, and we do have some leader skills to play around with, I'm pretty sure. Now, who do we have as a leader skill? Because this guy's awakening drops before the first year anniversary, so you can't throw him on STR Gogeta's team. So whose team were you throwing this guy on? Now this is where it gets interesting. So we go on over to Super Saiyan and we go ahead and grab up the AGL SSJ3 Goku. Where is he? He is all the way down here because, I mean, AGL 3 key and 3000 attack lead. Our beautiful OG boy. This is one of my first SSRs in Dokkan, by the way. I believe it's this guy right after the physical Super Vegeta. I pulled physical Super Vegeta, then this guy next. So this guy's my second SSR technically. So yes, you throw this guy on you throw him on his team, boom, that's it. That's pretty much that. But how does this guy perform almost a year later after getting his awakening? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys this. I found only one video that I'm using for proof in today's video. I'm of course going to go ahead and link it down below. It is from Jin and Nolar. Of course, shout out to Jin and Nolar. I'm going to go ahead and just leave his video source down below. Let me give him a sub too. I gotta give subs to people that I use these sources for my videos. So this guy is on a double 3 key and 170% attack led team. This is LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku's pre-easy aid Goku's family lead. I'm just like trying to find the words roll off the tongue. And of course we have the DBZ space images. Oh my god, I miss DBZ space. What do you guys know about that DBZ space? I miss that so much. Oh my god. So on this turn, oh man, he also has the Int Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. I love Dokkan, bro. Because you take a look at an old ass rotation like this and you're just like, wow. This game has came a long way. So this is the only video I was able to find is on a pre-Easy Aid LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku led Goku's family team, where you have a support type unit in the first slot, that being that physical Bardock, as well as a support type unit in the last slot, which I'm pretty sure they didn't get the support type buff off because Bardock is supposed to be below a HP threshold in his pre-Easy Aid, of course, to give that the super class support. So how many links are these guys sharing? Let me go down here. Can we show a bit more? No, that's it. No, that's all. Wow. I'm pretty sure they're sharing the first awakened. Let me pull up that Bardock actually, because I know he has the first awakened. This is probably gonna be a longer video than you guys think. It's just me. I love Dokkan, bro. Let's go on over here. His pre-Easy A. In his pre-Easy A, he gives 2 key and 20% attack, and he's sharing the first awaken at link level 1 at 25% attack, which of course at the time there was no link leveling. So that's they're sharing Super Saiyan, they're sharing the first awakened, they're not sharing Fierce Battle because it's shattering limb unit. So Super Saiyan, the first awakened, they're sharing Golden Warrior. Yeah, because he doesn't have Team Bardock, he doesn't have Saiyan Pride, he has none of these links. All they're sharing is the first awakened and Super Saiyan, because he doesn't have family ties, he doesn't have Team Bardock clearly, he doesn't have Saiyan Pride, and he doesn't have Prepare for Battle. This unit not having Prepare for Battle is okay because he's one of the first SSRs in Dokkan. But yeah, all they're sharing is Super Saiyan and the first awakened. That's only 10% attack, of course, at link level 1, because there's no link levels at the time. And of course, 25% attack. That's basically 35% attack from those links. So they don't have Saiyan Warrior Race, they don't have Golden War, they don't have Kamehameha, they don't have Blazing Battle, and they don't have Shattering the Limit because this guy's a Fierce Battle unit. And of course, let me just real quick pull up the Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. I just want to go ahead and see, would they be sharing any links with each other? I know I'm taking a little bit long here, but I want to go ahead and be right about this for this video. Let me see. So of course on this turn, so in the pre-Easy, of course, yeah, you have to be below that 70% HP threshold, and on this turn he doesn't open up on that 70% HP threshold, does he? Skip on over to it. Yeah, he doesn't. That's basically at the 90% HP threshold. So on this turn, 35% attack from links. And do remember, back at the time this video was made in May of 2019, these guys they had the double key link thing, where they were able to get attack from the the first card and of course the third card in the third slot, of course. So that's 35% attack from this guy at the time, of course. And how much attack from this guy? Because obviously they get First Awakened, so that's 25% attack from him. So that's up to, what is that? That's 40, that's 60% attack from in total from this guy, and an additional 10% attack. So that's 70% attack. So they have the 70% attack. And I think that's it. No experience fires, no Orb and Flash, no clear battle. Yeah, so that's 70% attack on this rotation between both these guys. Because guys, as you guys remember, back then you were able to get the buffs from both characters in the first and the third slot. So that's 70% attack in the middle, and this is the pre-EZA'd version of this SJ Goku. So what is he going to open up with without support from that in Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, by the way? Of course, shout out to Jin and Olar again. Had to give him a sub because I didn't realize I was a sub to him. I got a sub to Rhyme Style too because I used to use his videos in my old unit reviews. And let's see what this guy opens up with. Does this Bardock support on his super attack? No, he doesn't. He doesn't do it in his post EZA too, right? No, he doesn't. Okay, so this guy opens up with what? I'm curious. On a 170%, double 170% attack lead? Yeah, that's 400k. Of course, this video was made in 2019. Damage, not the craziest, but do keep in mind, May 15, Goku Day was the 9th. Goku Day is the 9th. So the Legendary Goku event is out at the time. Correct? I'm pretty sure that's correct, because Goku Day is May 9th. Yeah, so the Legendary Goku event's already out for JP, so you wouldn't run this guy at Legendary Goku event, clearly. So, going back on over to this guy, he does get his awakening in January of 2016, and I couldn't find any videos from Living Ichigo, Rhyme Style, Truth, Jin and Nolar. I've only found one video, that being from this guy's awakening on a double led Super Saiyan 4 Goku team. This video has gone for so long. I'm so sorry if I am ranting, but I love talking about old Dokkan units. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think old units are more interesting to talk about to me because they have more of a history behind them than newer units do. Because clearly, if we're talking about a newer unit, everyone and their fucking mamas talked about them. But if we're talking about these older units, it's just beautiful. So, with that being said, how's this guy perform during the leaderskills / Dokkan meta? Again, I would say that he's 7 key, but they buff it up to 50% HP. They give him stun chance, cool, and they buff up his leader skill a bit. So if you don't have any extra leaders, you can go ahead and run this guy. I think an interesting fact you could point out is that you can run this guy as a leader, and then you could run the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku as your friend, because you'll get the key. So you get the key from the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, then you also get the percentage stats of 30% attack and defense. That's pretty damn good, if you ask me. That's good, for sure. I think that team build method would be pretty nice. So let's talk about this guy and his post EZA. I'm going to just close all of these out. This guy in his post EZA, he has a better leader skill, of course. He also gets his EZA area in Halloween of 2019. So I clicked on super attack effect by accident. So this guy is out during the Legendary Goku event meta. You're not running him. You can run him in like a battle rogue stage for his 30% chance to stun, but 77% attack, just baseline, 7 key, and 77% attack when HP 77% or less. That's cool for sure, provided you're able to get this off. But this guy will only be able to be used for a stun around that Legendary Goku event meta for off meta content, that being in battle road. So, and also of course 3 key and 40% of stats, useful for the EZA areas at the time, but that's pretty much it. I think the good thing about this guy is just a stun chance, pretty much, and the fact that he could get an additional attack defensive buff and key when he's below that HP threshold. But how often would you get that off? In battle road, it's possible because you could take a bit of damage even through an item, but I think that he's only useful for a stun chance. Well, specifically for some units through an item, not all units, obviously, at the time. So what is bad about him? His link set is terrible. This guy, virtually, you would only ever run him as the last option or one of the only options you have. And I think that's specifically about it. This guy being a old piece of history, I think all these old Dokkan units, we will be talking about more of them. And I want to go ahead and close out some of these older units so I can start rolling up to some of the units that I have not talked about. I am almost up to 300 videos for unit reviews. So let's go and see how many 200 leader skills he's on, and we're going to close out the video. He's on Kai Goku's 200% Leader Skill to Turtle School. He's on Yamcha's 200% Leader Skill for Earthbound Fighters. And he's on Bardock's 200% Leader Skill for Goku's family. So I think that's really about it. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys are the best. I love old Dokkan units. Just like, this is just a piece of history that showed what the game used to be. I'll catch you guys next video. I love you all. Peace.